this every time. God, choking on my own rage here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Gabbin with Gabbo. Um, I told myself that I was going to do first reaction videos to the things I basically see in life. And as Sislak so eloquently put it, the last 3 hours of my life of watching that Suns game, that was pretty much how I felt. This video is not going to be pretty. I am pretty upset. I have been a Suns fan since I was 4 years old. It's the team that I love the most. And what I saw today was just absolute dog shit. There was no effort, no intensity, absolutely no passion. There's no soul to this team. There's no heart to this team. Everybody out there just looks like they're just collecting checks. And except for you got people like Josh Okogie who comes in at the end and tries to be a spark. But by then it was too little too late. We had no chance out there. This was truly pathetic. I don't think there's any other way to say it. I've actually been sitting in silence in the dark for like the last 30 minutes thinking about like what the hell I just watched. And I think, 16 years ago in 2008, Chris Collinsworth called the Arizona Cardinals the worst Super Bowl team ever or the worst playoff team ever. He might have pulled the Simpsons. He got the state right, and he was about 16 years too early on that one. This is the worst team I've seen in the playoffs, Suns wise, I think ever. I can't remember the last time we've been swept in a series. It's been a long time, I'm sure, but I'm sure even in that series, if we did get swept, we at least produced a team that looked like they cared, and maybe we were just outmatched. This team should not be outmatched by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, they have some talent. Anthony Edwards is great. Karl Anthony Towns is really good. Rudy Gobert is he's a menace in the middle. There's a reason he was a defensive player of the year. It's been a few times. I don't even know. All this is off the top of my head because I can't look at highlights. I don't want to read a box score, but I'm sure I will here in a second just to kind of see. But I know what I saw with my own eyes, and there are a lot of shots at the rim that the Suns are just missing. I guess you could blame Gobert for that, but it just looks like when they get to the hoop, they have no idea how to do a layup. We're missing layups. Uh, sure, they're contested. Sure, there's bodies down there and stuff like that, but it's a layup. I can do a layup. It may not be pretty, but I'll at least try to go up with some intensity before I like break my ankles coming down. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this team. Devin Booker has looked completely checked out. Maybe that's because Jaden McDaniels is getting in his head. Don't know. But he just looks like he just is going through the motions. I know he had over 20 points today, but how quiet was that? And I think 10 of those came in the first quarter. The first half, it looked good. The second quarter was not very good. The third quarter, fourth quarter, what were we even doing out there? This was not a basketball team. This was just a team that looked like they were collecting their checks. I guess they're waiting for the off season to come so they can go on vacation. I know Book and Durant are going to be on the Olympic team. Um, but I mean, Book was on the Olympic team when the Suns went to the finals. They lost Game 6. He jumped on a plane with Chris Middleton, and they were in, I forget where the Summer Olympics were that year. I think it was China or something. But you know, the Booker we've seen this year has just been off, and I don't know if it's frustration. I don't know if he doesn't like the coach. I don't know if he doesn't like the players. This was probably the first game I haven't seen the Suns bitch about fouls. I know Yusuf kind of did a couple of times, but that's just him. Um, I didn't really see them complain too much, and that was like the only positive. But the really crappy thing was the ref really sucked. That didn't cost us a game at all, though. I mean, we had the Timberwolves in foul trouble too, and we just did not capitalize at all. I went ahead and brought up the box score here. Um, this game, offensive rebounds. This game came out to it. You could see one team was out there hustling. You could see one team was out there playing with intensity, that they cared, and you saw one team that did not. And I would think we all know the team that did not. It's been happening all playoffs. I mean, I did a preview show before the playoffs started, and I had the Suns in five, and here we are on the precipice of getting swept. Um, and what confidence do we have to believe that we're going to put up any kind of a fight in Game Four? Look at the last 2 years of playoff deciding series deciding games, and they've been here at home. I mean, you got the Mavericks last year destroying us on our home court. I'm sorry, it was the Nuggets last year who destroyed us on our home court. It was the Mavericks the year before that did it. 30-point blowouts where it just does not look like we even cared to show up. And I have no reason to believe that that's not what's going to happen on Sunday. I mean, at this point, it's almost like I'm bringing it. Like, I want you to bring it. Just get swept so we can just be put out of our misery of this terrible season. I mean, I know the Suns won two more games this year than they did last year, and they were still, number six. Last year, we lost two more games than we did this year, and I think we were number three or four. We weren't in any kind of, you know, road starting series. I'm pretty sure about that, but at this point, the rage has just clouded my brain. I cannot even think straight. So trying to bring up stats and stuff from previous years have ended horribly. You know, I'm already prolonging my misery. Why would I just top it? But yeah, the the Timberwolves 43 for 87, almost 50%. And any misses that they did get, they got the offensive rebound, 15 offensive rebounds. So you know that's 15 extra possessions, and I mean it's just absolutely incredible. Mike Conley should not be kicking our ass. Nikhil Alexander Walker, he should not be kicking our ass. I mean, you expect these games from Ant and Carl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. I mean, those are their big three. Um, Jaden McDaniels has absolutely just gotten in Devin Booker's head and completely taken him out of this series. Uh, that kind of fake tough guy crap that was happening in the end when Booker and McDaniels both got technicals. I mean, what are you gonna say, Book? I mean, we were getting killed. We were down by 20 with like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. What crap could you possibly talk about? I mean, I don't know if it's frustration, but you haven't been there, dude, and you've been here through all the crap when you were here in the 19 win teams. Um, I'm still a big fan. Phoenix, I'm sure, is still a big fan, but we're gonna have to start asking questions like, do you want to be here? I mean, does Kevin Durant want to be here? I mean, every couple of years when things don't go his way, he seems to be requesting trades. What's to say this year is not different? The only thing is like, what are you gonna get from him? There's nothing. I mean, you have no leverage. You can pick your team, sure, but what are we gonna get from that? I mean, I really don't understand the makeup of this team. I had a lot of hope at the beginning of the year. I heard the cliche all year of let's just get to the playoffs and we'll flip the switch and we'll go ahead and show you what we really got. Well, you know what? We're 3 games into a 4 game series. If you don't get your act together on Sunday and pull one out, and I mean, who even cares if you do that? You give me two and bring it back to Phoenix. I mean, I'm gonna watch the games because I'm a diehard, and I'll ride or die with this team just because there's really nothing else to latch on to here in Phoenix. Um, but I just don't understand it. Like it's happened like the last 3 years, and you can even go back to the year we made the finals, up to nothing, and we get just swept like we didn't even matter. I mean, I don't understand like what it is. I know a lot of people are gonna wish that we could have taken back the KD for Mikhail and Cam trade, but I mean it happened. There's nothing you can do now. I mean, I don't think it's Kevin Durant's fault that we're losing these games. He seems to be trying. I mean, not showing today. I mean, he just the plus minus on everybody was negative 20. I mean, jeez, what is this? Bradley Beal, I mean, Bradley Beal in the fourth quarter, it seemed like he was trying to provide a spark. And I would say sporadically through the series, he's kind of tried to provide the spark. You can see it in his face, you can see it in his eyes that he really does seem to be the only one out there who cares and is actually trying to make a difference, but he's just missing easy shots. A couple of times this series, he's been standing on the baseline when he gets a pass in the corner for a three and he's out of bounds. It's got to mess with your psyche. I don't doubt that, and you can tell he's forcing it. But you know what? At this point, somebody's got to force it. I mean, he's trying. Nurkic has been pretty much eliminated, but you know his job is to contain Gobert, and we're not. So I don't know what's going on there. The small lineup's not working. The big lineup's not working. The big three aren't working. Two, one of them at a time, it's just not working. Like I said, Book had, let's see, he had 28 points. Did it feel like he had 28 points? No. He had 8 assists. Didn't feel like it, you know. We don't have a bench. I do believe the guys off the bench do try to give some effort. Eric Gordon has actually been really good the last couple of games, but it would be nice to have him kind of pull a Grayson Allen type game that we had during the season, where a bench guy can just kind of carry this team while because the big three are having an off night. But it's the playoffs. The big three are not supposed to have off nights in the playoffs. I mean, that's what we're paying you for. I mean, I know I'm not paying him, the owner is, but that's what he's paying you for. We are so severely handicapped as a team that there's nothing we can even do next year. The only thing we can really do is re-sign Royce O'Neal, which we kind of have to, and we can only give him, I believe, it's 2 years, 20 million. And then the luxury tax on that is going to be outrageous. It's going to probably be close to maybe even like 30 or 40 million, maybe even more, just with the second apron luxury tax that we're going to be paying because we're paying KD, Book, uh, Bradley Beal. He's making a lot of money. We just paid Grayson Allen. We can't just keep signing these players. I mean, everybody else is going to be gone. Everybody has to be gone. You got to make up the whole roster again, and you're really only going to have, Brad, Book, Kevin Durant, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. Those are kind of going to be your center stones. Um, Everybody says, we got to trade somebody. I think the only one we can trade at this point that would be of any interest to another team is Book, and I don't think he's gonna go anywhere unless he just requests a trade, which I don't think is gonna happen. I think we all kind of can see the tea leaves. Frank Vogel is gone. I would fire him today and just be like, you know what, David Fizdale, coach the game for game four. Who cares? Something's got to light a fire under this team. It is a 4 game series, but 3-0 comebacks. It's very rare. I know it happens in hockey. I'm sure it's happened in baseball. I don't believe an NBA team's done it. There might have been a couple. I don't know. Normally, I would look these things up, but I'm just too clouded with rage to even think about looking up stats. These I can barely stomach because it's not. I mean, I know that obviously the numbers skew to Minnesota, but it's more than that. There's just no effort. There's no passion. There's no heart. There's no soul. I mean, this team just looks like they don't give a shit. Um, Book looks like he doesn't give a shit. I know Kobe was his mentor, and as I'm watching the game, I'm kind of, picturing the Kobe we saw when the Suns came back 3-1 on them in that playoff series forever ago. It was the series where Kobe got clotheslined and, Raja got ejected. One of the best Phoenix moments ever, I think. You know, I love Kobe after he retired, but as I'm watching him, I hated him. So rest in peace. Anyways, that's the player I'm seeing with Book. like it's like he's already got it in his mind that he's not going to be able to beat Jaden McDaniels on any kind of play. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. I've had really bad luck with trying to remember people's names off the top of my head, but yeah, it's Jaden McDaniels because I've been watching him the whole series, just locked down book, take him completely out of his mindset. I just don't know what he's doing. Kevin Durant's doing his best to try to keep us in these games, or at least get the spark lit in the first half or first quarter, probably mostly. But nobody's helping him. I mean, we can't hit threes. We are missing layups. We're playing some good defense, but when you're just giving up offensive rebounds and they're easy offensive rebounds where they're just getting points right back, wide open threes. I mean, the defensive struggles have kind of been this way the whole season. I just don't think we thought the offense would be this bad, and they're bad. And I know Minnesota is a good defensive team. I think you know maybe we had a false bravado during the regular season when we beat them all three times very handily. They look like the team they were like, what, let's just save it for the playoffs, and they flipped the switch, and now they're killing us. Um, it's just a weird thing to see. I mean, I've seen Suns teams quit, but it's usually like in an elimination game, say for Denver and Dallas. You know, those game six and game seven respectively, they quit in those. But at least for the beginning of the series until it got to that elimination game, they seemed to be at least competitive. Maybe not so much with Dallas, but they were at least somewhat competitive. They at least looked like they gave a shit. But this year has just been completely different. I don't know what it is. Um, there's got to be some wholesale changes, but I don't know what those changes could be. I mean, we have no leverage, we have no picks, we have no players. Anybody we're going to bring back is going to be on minimum salaries. We can't bring back a lot of the players we're seeing now. Eric Gordon's probably not coming back. Bol, I know the crowd's been asking for him to play, and he brings a kind of energy that you don't get from your starters or even your bench guys that come off the bench. He just has like the different type of energy that the crowd likes to get electrified. And he had a good dunk, but just I mean, I don't see what people see in Bol where he's just this like Jeremy Lin type of takeover insanity. I mean, he's good on offense. He can shoot. I think all of his passes are very, very fast. He plays with a lot of adrenaline, which you can't knock that. Uh, he's a good perimeter defender. He just doesn't have the body type to stay around the paint and grab rebounds like Nurkic does, or even a Drew Eubanks does. That's just not his game. He's a perimeter player. He could take the ball to the hoop, sure, but he can't make floaters. I don't think he can make floaters. I mean, maybe some step backs, but he, maybe you just throw him out there the next game for 20 minutes and see what happens. I mean, there's really it's desperation mode now. I mean, we just got to throw everything out there. And I mean, like I was saying, I don't have the confidence in this team that they're going to do anything, like they're going to have any response. I mean, it's just like they're done. They were done when they started the playoffs. So uh, the simplest thing that's going to happen in the off season, whenever it does happen, is probably going to be the coach. The owner of this team can't be spending this amount of money for this amount of talent and get nothing in return. And I really do think, I'm sure it's kind of shown signs all season. I really do think that they gave up on him a long time ago. Uh, I don't think he was ever really the true leader in the locker room. Um, I think maybe this is just my opinion, but I think when Kevin Young didn't get the job at the beginning of the year and they brought in Vogel, I think that might have been the one that hurt Book the most. And now Kevin Young's going to coach at BYU. So Utah's swooping in again and taking another one of our Arizona, centerpieces. I don't know if you can call the Coyotes centerpieces, but they were at least, I don't know, a rook. They were they were on the chessboard and they weren't pawns, except for the owners who were disputing over the land, and Glendale who's kicking people out. Uh, Anyway, that's a whole other tangent. But yeah, Utah, you want to stop stealing our shit anytime soon? That'd be cool. Um, but yeah, I think when Kevin Young didn't get the job, that kind of bummed Booker out. Uh, and maybe that's been reflective of his play. And now he's losing them. And now he's going to lose a whole coaching staff. I mean, I really do believe Book wants to stay in Phoenix for his whole career. But so did Dame Lillard. And eventually he had to ask out. Devin Booker's in his prime. Um, he could ask out. Uh, and that would be very hurtful because he's stuck around for a long time. But how many coaches does he have to go through? I know a lot of. If you want to be legendary in Phoenix, you got to be just one of those guys that sticks around. We have them. I mean, Shane Doan, Larry Fitzgerald. Those are obviously like lifers here in Phoenix. I mean, you can even go as far as say Steve Nash. Uh, I mean, it's very rare. There's not that many people up there that's been here their whole career and uh, made names for themselves here. Everybody eventually has to leave. Even Shane Doan left, and that was kind of crappy. But you know, I don't want to believe that Booker would be one of those guys that would demand a trade. But I mean, you're going to be moving on to another coaching staff, and I'm sure you'll have a say in it. But how long are you going to give that before the rumblies start coming that you're not going to want to be here in Phoenix anymore? And I don't know if I can blame him. I mean, there's been some serious neglect to his career, although he still has shown as a superstar. Sorry, had a little skip there. Yeah, Devin Booker has definitely become a superstar in this league, but I mean, I can see him being at his wits' end. I'm at my wits' end. I don't want to trade him, but if you look at this roster, unless you're going to trade Grayson Allen, which why would you? You just signed him. Book might be the one that just decides, he might, this may sound weird, he might be the ultimate Suns player to be like, look, you guys are going to suck. Beal and Durant, they're just not the guys, but they're stuck here. If you're going to strike where the iron's hot, I guess this is the hottest the iron's going to get. I mean, Book can't have another season like this. He's gonna lose his status as one of the elite players, and I mean, if this series hasn't already diminished his status, I guess another year and another showing by this team where they're wildly inconsistent. There's turnovers all over the place. We're losing to teams we shouldn't be losing to during the regular season. You lose to the Spurs, what, three times? Lose to the Rockets twice. I know they came through towards the end of the season and made a run, but I mean, you can't be losing those games. Memphis, the Blazers, come on, man. These are teams you should be killing. I mean, what is it? It's been there all year, I guess. But I was hoping I had some positivity that they would at least do something in the playoffs, and they've done absolutely nothing. So yeah, there's still one more game left. It is basketball. Stranger things have happened. Like I said, teams have come back from 3-0. I know in hockey for sure. Um, but there's just no belief in my head or in my heart that this team's gonna come back. But I guess we'll see what happens on Sunday. Um, like I was saying before, I think part of me kind of wishes it just ends. Why prolong our misery? Because even if you do win, you're gonna go to Minnesota and you're just gonna get killed. You know, I don't know. Um, Suns fans at the game, I thought you were trying. I mean, I know it got quiet, but there's one reason that it did. I honestly would have booed the hell out of this team. I booed them from home. I said every swear word I could possibly think of, and I was trying to think of a word that was more disgusting than disgusting to describe this game, but it was disgusting, deplorable, pathetic. Um, and I don't know how much more I can watch. I mean, maybe I'll be lucky and there's only one more game, only 48 more minutes of this team. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping we can pull off a miracle, but what has they done to even inspire that? I don't even want to say confidence because that's too high of a word. Just inspire any kind of emotion in me to think that you're going to do it. Well, yeah, that's going to be it. I thought there was going to be a lot more profanity laced than it was, but I think Mo kind of said it all. I just kind of choked on my own rage, so I don't want to say too much more than that. Thanks for listening to this. Thanks for subscribing. Chime in on the comments. Hit me in on my socials. I don't care. At this point, I'm kind of done. I'm probably just going to go sit in silence some more. So, all y'all, thanks again for listening. I'll talk to you later. Peace.